And welcome to Center Circle, and I am Jermaine Brown. The JFF could announce a new election date when its board members meet on Saturday. The election should have taken place on January 14, but was delayed after Beach Soccer Jamaica took out an injunction against the process. But with the injunction lifted, football's local governing body is doing everything to get back on track. They're even asking the candidates to speak out against the action of beach soccer. A date is yet to be decided for Beach Soccer of Jamaica's appeal against the lifting of the injunction on the JFF elections by the Supreme Court. The injunction was refused on the basis that there was no serious issue to be tried and that the applicant has not established that they are either an affiliate or a member of the JFF. However, Beach Soccer Jamaica President Pat Carvel remains confident in securing a favorable decision on the appeal, which would see the elections being delayed after the April 23 court date. The JFF has since contacted both candidates, Michael Ricketts and Raymond Anderson, who are contesting the election, to give their views on the court action. Ricketts has stated that he is opposed to the action taken by Beach Soccer Jamaica, while Anderson did not comment on the matter. However, CASAFA Vice President and veteran football administrator Carvel Stewart says that there is no reason for Anderson to disassociate himself from one of the country's stakeholders.
For the JFF, now the General Secretary, to seek to ask one of the or both candidates to disassociate themselves from beach soccer is totally incorrect to start with, and that's putting it mildly. It is, for me, it is symptomatic of the type of corruption that this JFF body has pursued for decades. Just one example. And so it is important that the Raymond Anderson campaign did not disassociate itself from someone who is recorded in the Constitution as a member of the JFF.
What would that mean for beach soccer? Because it would have sent to FIFA that the candidates are supporting.
Well, it would have meant initially that, which is where we are now, initially it would have meant that they would have been more aggressive in their pursuit through the courts. Because one of them, again, the way the JFF communicates to the public has either been completely false, partially false, full of innuendos, and some outright untruths. What happened coming out of the court situation? The new judge, the second judge, lifted the injunction, but they failed to tell the people that the case is to be tried and the first hearing would be in April, which would mean a further delay in the process, right? So I don't see how the Anderson campaign could have disassociated itself from beach soccer, knowing that beach soccer is the original body that has promoted and participated in beach soccer for years now.
The JFF thinks it's a disruption to their current process, and especially as it goes against the provisions of the JFF Constitution and the FIFA statutes, and is a deliberate attempt to deny the legitimate members a right to exercise their vote for the development of football in Jamaica and for Jamaicans.
Whatever football is to happen under the JFF is happening. What has it disrupted? The Men Premier League is going on. They have started what they call the Women's Premier League, which is a big disservice to the women and the women who aspire to play football in and for Jamaica. What else were they doing? There is nothing else that they were doing that has been disrupted. Let's be honest about that. The only thing that has been disrupted is the election with the false groups that they incorporated in October. And here's some more facts and honesty now. They were supposed to have informed all those members that were listed in the Constitution they were supposed to inform them and have them fully, use the word compliant, which I don't think is real compliance, but have them fully involved, because they were named as members in the Constitution. Therefore, if they needed to be incorporated as a company at the company's office, you tell them that. They were never informed of that. None of them. It is only in September when they called a Congress, to which they invited the more prominent member directly of beach soccer, who then brought the beach soccer membership to that Congress to listen to them outline what the requirements were. Those are facts, right? They then found out, and I want them to contradict this successfully. They found, when that Congress ended and they canvassed, they had no support among any of the members named in Pillar 3. None. This was in September 2023. They learned that. So in October 2023, they incorporated Beach Football Association, and well, they failed to incorporate Jamaica Coaches Association, right? Failed to incorporate it. However, at that same November 1 board meeting, they presented Jamaica Coaches Association to the board and had false information about their legal status and that they were incorporated, that they had a certificate of incorporation, right? When that document is shown to the General Secretary, he went crazy. Where you get it and all them kind of questions, right? Because it wasn't supposed to come out of the board, because there were falsehoods in it.
There are even talks that Anderson could be in trouble with FIFA for not speaking out against the beach soccer's action, but Stewart says that's just noise.
Again, this is more misinformation from the JFF and scare tactics, right? They believe that by throwing things up in the atmosphere, that people should become afraid of pursuing the truth. And as a number of people will tell you, I now say facts are stubborn. You can't change facts. They are relentless. And therefore, what they do is they deflect and they put stories out there about disenfranchising now Raymond Anderson, which is what that suggestion is. And there is no way they can do that. No way at all.
As for the case in front of the courts to be heard on April 23, Stewart says he doesn't think FIFA will give the JFF the go-ahead to conduct the elections before such time.
The Super League in Europe went to the top court in Europe, and the outcome has been that the court has ruled that FIFA and UEFA cannot stop the Super League, essentially. The next case is the Brazilian board took their president to court, and the court ruled, both levels of courts ruled that they should remove the president and hold a new election. FIFA did not interfere in the process. The process took 2 stages, 2 levels of court, and then finally, when the top court says you must have an election as soon as possible to replace this president, FIFA then came out and said, now hold on. If you go ahead with that, we're going to suspend Brazil from international football, both nationally and club-wise. And so that is my observation. I don't see FIFA interfering while the judicial process is in play.
The truth is that the Electoral Committee and myself has been in constant communication with FIFA right throughout the process. That's something that a lot of people don't know. So every move that we've made in terms of the Constitution and the procedures, particularly from the Electoral Committee, we have been in step with FIFA on it. So they're very much aware, even through the whole process. leading up to the lifting of the injunction, we have been, and I particularly have been in contact with FIFA about all the news items and everything that's going on in Jamaica. You know, it's a procedural thing, right? That we're going to go back and do something procedural in April. But right now, as of right now, the injunction is lifted and we're going to go ahead with the election. The JFF is carrying out its business, right? And the JFF, when it comes to the procedures that were followed, as I said, we would have been lockstep and barrel with FIFA in terms of ensuring along the way that everything is followed. And we do have an electoral committee that is independent of the JFF, and that electoral committee is going to do its work.
When we return, we look at why beach soccer is facing an uphill task.